Hello men, women, and children of the internet, we're back with 999, where we last left off, I don't know, weird anime tropes, let's just get right back into it. Why hadn't he realized it before? The girl was Akane Kurashiki. She and Junpei had been friends in childhood. They'd gone to elementary school together for 6 years. But what was she doing on the ship? Her soft eyes were only inches away from his own. He could feel the warmth of her face. Feelings he'd thought long forgotten began to work their way to the surface. He could feel his face heating up. At that moment, a speaker crackled to life, and a cold, eerie voice filled the room. Welcome aboard. I welcome you all from the bottom of my heart to this, my vessel. With the voice's invasion, the spell between Junpei and Akane was broken, and all hints of burgeoning romance instantly forgotten. They hurriedly untangled themselves from one another and struggled to their feet. Their 7 companions had heard the voice as well, and many of their faces had gone pale. They looked around frantically, desperate to locate the source of the sound. At last, they found it, a speaker set in the ceiling. Classic. I am Zero, the captain of this ship. I am also the person who invited you here. He uses the word invited very loosely. The voice was harsh, obscured, occasionally by the crackle of static. But Junpei recognized it. How could he have forgotten it? It was Hannibal Lecter. It was the same voice he had heard from the man in the gas mask. Hey, asshole! What the hell is this? Come on out here, I want to get a good look at you. What do you mean to do to us? I mean to have you participate in a game. Some of you I know are familiar with this game, the Nonary game. Or Nonary game. I don't know how to pronounce it. It is a game where you will put your life on the line. Nonary game? What the hell's that? The voice continued, implacable. Implacable? I don't know my vocabulary. The rules of the Nonary game can be found upon your persons. They are simple rules. Read them. Nonary game. Hey, there's something in my pocket. Check this out. Silver reached into his pocket and pulled out a small slip of paper. The rest of them reached into their own pockets and pulled out similar slips of paper. Junpei followed suit and dug into the pocket of his pants. He felt the telltale crumple of paper, slightly damp from his earlier ordeal. Hey, I got one too. Then it would seem Zero has seen fit to grace us each with a letter. Would you mind terribly reading it to us, young man? His request had been delivered to Junpei, who, after a short moment of surprise, did as he'd been asked. On this ship you will find a handful of doors emblazoned with numbers. We will call them the numbered doors. Huh. Very clever. The doors in front of you are a pair of the same. The key to opening these doors are the numbered bracelets that each of you possess. Should you total the numbers on your numbered bracelets and find that the digital root of that number is equal to the number of that door, the door will open. Man, Zero really does like math. Only those who have opened the door may pass through. There are, however, limits. Only 3 to 5 people can pass through one numbered door. All those who enter must leave, and all who enter must contribute to the blood god. Bracelet, Junpei figured, had to mean the bulky thing on his wrist. He glanced around. It looked like everyone else had one as well, and had come to much the same conclusion. The purpose of the game is simple. Leave this ship alive. It is hidden, but an exit can be found. Seek a way out. Seek a door that carries a 9. That's the pause button, but hey, I would like to save, why the hell not? Could not save, would you like to quit? Well, no. Huh. Well, that was odd. I'll figure it out later. Maybe you can't save during cutscenes or something. Anyway, seek a way out. Seek a door that carries a 9. Junpei had reached the end of the letter. There was a long moment of silence, and then the speaker crackled to life once more. There is one last thing I must tell you. As you have no doubt surmised, this ship has begun to sink. On April 14th, 1912, oh, this takes place a while ago, the famous ocean liner Titanic crashed... okay, never mind, this is just a reference to Titanic. Titanic crashed into an iceberg. After remaining afloat for 2 hours and 40 minutes, it sank beneath the waters of the North Atlantic. This guy sure knows a lot. I will give you more time. 9 hours. That is the time you will be given to make your escape. Truly, 9 hours, 9 persons, and 9 doors. The voice finished, and the speaker went silent. The sound of a bell tolling echoed through the hall. Thanks, Hemingway. I think that was Hemingway. I don't know my literature. Anyway. Okay, where are we gonna go with this? I don't know when the rest of the, gameplay, if you call it that's gonna start, but, there are different endings to this game, as I may or may not have mentioned before. After a bit of research, it's like there's 3 bad endings, one completely silly one from what I understand, one good one, and one true ending that can only be reached through the good ending. So I don't know how many times I'm gonna end up replaying this game. I will cut things. I want to show the true ending to you guys, and really any other endings that I might end up with, but if it comes to that, I'll just cut things away. So, yeah. Anyway, back to this dialogue. Yeah. It came from the dance hall adjacent to the stairwell. It took those assembled on the stairs mere moments to trace the sound to an antique clock embedded in the wall. 7, 8, 9. By the way, if you were wondering, this thing happening on the screen here is just me holding down the stylus. Kind of makes the thing go. Can't tell if it's annoying if there is another button for it. I'll find out. Oh, I just missed all of that dialogue. Anyway, if that was the case, then they would need to escape by 6 a.m. the following day. I'll just go back and read what I missed. Why, it's probably nothing. You guys saw it. Now it is time. Let our game begin. I wish you all the best of luck. The speaker went silent and did not speak again. Silver yelled at the speaker with language coarse enough to embarrass a sailor. Love you, Silver. But the rest of Junpei's companions were silent, deep in thought. Junpei, too, was consumed by his thoughts. There was a great deal he didn't understand. Well, I would be pretty confused in this situation, too. Who was Zero? Surely it's not Lelouch v. Britannia. And what was the nonary game? Why had he chosen to make them part of it? Was he a criminal who took delight in playing with his victims? I sure hope so, those are the best kinds of criminals. Or did he have some other kind of purpose? Why had Junpei been chosen as part of this insane game? Dad knows Zero was probably bullied as a child by all of these people, even the people out of his age group. Why had any of them been chosen? But one question was foremost in his mind. Akane. They hadn't seen one another since elementary school. Why had she appeared now? Plot. Coincidence? No, that seemed impossible. There had to be a reason. If there wasn't, this story would be boring. He didn't know what it might be, but there had to be a reason. Very well. The lion's voice seemed oddly loud in the silence. Standing around won't do us any good. Best we get moving, don't you think? Get moving? Are you planning to open the numbered doors? Hey, wait. Don't tell me you're actually going to do what this Zero guy says. No, that's not what I mean. The lion shook his head, mildly annoyed. I'm saying, let's find another way. After all, we haven't really examined this place yet. What? That's... Yep, that's 9 o'clock. Oh, now it's 10:20. Wait, no, 9:20? Whatever. Their separate investigations finished, all 9 people returned to where they left one another. The result of all their work was absolute shit. They were completely sealed in, as expected. Their hard work had not gone completely to waste, however. They had learned a number of things as they'd secure the parts of the ship they could reach. It seemed that they were confined to decks A through C. C deck was as far down as they would be able to go, however. The reason being... that D deck was completely submerged by water. I guarantee we'll have to go down there eventually. Just like Raiden would have done. Strangely, however, the water had risen no higher than D deck because, I don't know how sinking ships works. The flow seemed to have been stopped somehow, as evidenced by the surface of the water on D deck, which was as smooth as glass. The prince knelt down and gently drew his hand across it. Perhaps this Zero fellow used some sort of remote control to seal a water-type door lower down. He said that our time limit was 9 hours. In other words, this water won't rise for 9 hours. Then you're saying we won't sink till then? Well, that may be a little too optimistic. No point to wishful thinking. There were 3 metal doors on C deck. A single door stood off to the side, with 2 more on the wall facing the central staircase. None of them had numbers or verification devices. They were, however, locked like the other doors. No matter how much they pushed and shoved, the doors refused to move. The mountain and the lion threw themselves against them a few times, like the jackasses they are, but to no avail. The door in the back had a keyhole. Just above it was a strange mark in the shape of a circle surrounding a dot. A keyhole above a keyhole. Probably. Maybe. There were 2 other doors on C deck as well, but it was clear they were elevators, as each had a button next to it with an upside-down triangle. They tried pushing the button. No response, of course. Apparently, there was no power running through the elevators. To the left of the elevator doors was a card reader. Even more bullshit. I'm not gonna have to do more math, am I? Oh, I'm gonna have to do so much more math. The card reader also had a strange mark on it. It looked like a lowercase h with a dash across the upper stem of the H. Does that look like a thing? It's clearly Hebrew. Junpei stared at it for a while. This is the symbol of Saturn. Okay, never mind, it's Greek. Or Roman? Does Roman have symbols? Ah, whatever. It's an astrological symbol. Then the mark on the door... I think that the sun symbol... They had seen the same symbols on A deck, so, Saturn, 7th planet, number 7, somehow, yeah, whoever the 7th is, probably gonna be involved there. Just my guess for now. There was a door on either side of the stairs. The one on the left hand had a keyhole with a similar symbol engraved on it. What is that, the moon? Nope, it's the Earth. The horizontal line symbolizes the equator, and the vertical one represents the prime meridian. 3? The Earth is the 3rd? I don't know. You know, if depending on when this game was made, there's gonna be a door with Pluto on it. That may or may not be considered a planet at the time, and that's how you know. 9 planets, it's perfect. It all works out assuming this game considers Pluto a planet. Junpei looked up at the ceiling. There was a great circle cut in it, perhaps for a skylight or a glass dome, but it had been filled with a gargantuan metal plate, probably because this ship is fucking sinking. The metal looked very solid. Anything short of an explosive charge was unlikely to damage it. and there were several windows along both sides of the ship, or at least there had been. Ah, need a good drink of water there. They too were covered with metal plates. In other words, shit's locked. We're trapped. All the exits go nowhere. Junpei was not happy. I would be damned if he was, really. The girl with pink hair spoke up. Well, I'm sure they go somewhere. We just can't open them. Then the mountain spoke. You don't know that. For all we know, they just open into walls or take us in circles. The prince did not agree. No, I'm sure they go somewhere. Otherwise, what point would there be? And yeah, it'd be pretty bad if the super spooky serial murderer mastermind guy, it would be no fun if there was no point. If there was no chance for them to escape, well, Zero would not be having a fun time. And we cannot open them. Well, 2 of them at least. 4 and 5, clearly one's for Junpei. I hope. You mean the numbered doors? All eyes turned toward the doors with numbers on them. The atmosphere in the room grew tense. Hey, wait a minute. I think I said this earlier, but I don't think we should do that. I should be paying more attention because I don't even remember what this earlier suggestion was, but whatever. The dancer moved in front of the doors as if to block them. We'd have to be crazy to open these doors. If we do that, we're doing exactly what Zero wants us to do. Suddenly, everyone began to speak at once. I agree. I don't. That's a terrible idea. We should keep going. We should stay here. We don't have any other way to open these doors. We should just wait. Someone's bound to come find us. We don't have time for that. In 8.5 hours, this ship is going to sink. The clamor of voices made it next to impossible to determine who was saying what. Their arguments grew more and more intense until people were shouting and screaming at one another. Junpei had remained silent, but at last he could take no more. Hey! Shut up! Way to step up. They fell silent, and all eyes turned to Junpei. He felt each stare burning into him, but he refused to flinch. Before we try and decide where we're going to go, there's nothing else we ought to do. Something else? I read that wrong. Oh well, I'm bad at narrating. Whatever. What's that? We need to exchange information. We don't know anything about each other. Well, to be fair... well, if you guys are gonna die together, you might as well get to know each other. I want to know who you guys are. Oh, what a nice guy. Who you are, where you came from, why you ended up here. Now that might reveal some information on how to get out of here. Don't tell me you aren't curious, too. They were silent. Some of them looked the other way, or bit their lip, or crossed their arms and stared at the ceiling, because all of them have very questionable paths, probably. But one of them spoke up. It was Akane. I agree. I think Junpei is right. Junpei? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm talking about him. I just call him Junpei. His name is Junpei. She pointed towards Junpei, promptly. We're childhood friends. We went to the same elementary school. Wait, stop. Don't tell us stuff we didn't ask you about. Zero's probably watching us right now. What are you gonna do if he's listening in? Absolutely fucking nothing. What's Zero gonna do about this? Would that be a bad thing? Hell yeah, it would. We don't know how much that bastard knows about us. Probably knows everything, to be fair. Maybe he just picked a bunch of randoms to kidnap. If that is the case, then it'd be dangerous for us to let him know too much. If Zero knows who we are, we could go after our families. He could go after our families. Maybe he'd tell us he had him to go to... oh, Jesus, I'm falling apart. I shouldn't try and do silly voices. Maybe he'd tell us he had him to go get us to do stuff, you know? But we still need to know what our names are. It's going to be hard to talk to each other if we don't have names. Alright, then why don't we have code names? To him, apparently it seemed like the obvious solution. Code names? Yeah, well, we'll each pick something. Like, I'll be 7. 7? Why are you 7? Why do you think, Junpei? It seemed a fair question, for some odd reason. The mountain stuck out his left arm. 'Cause this bracelet says number 7. No, I get it. Yeah, that's a good idea. He smirked. Alright, I'm gonna be Santa. I like you, Silver. Santa. Any of you chumps know Japanese? No? Well, san means 3, so I'll be Santa. The only san I know is the title. What's the name for that? An honorific? Yeah, that. You know, like Santa Claus. Santa Claus? Ah, whatever, Japanese is weird. Fits, don't you think? Then your bracelet number? Yep, it's got a 3 on it. Good job, Grandpa. Just like the mountain had done, Silver thrust out his left hand, like a bastard. Sure enough, the face of his bracelet read 3. Very well then. I'll go next, shall I? My bracelet is number 1. Given that, I think Ace seems appropriate. Oh my god, everyone's getting all proud about their numbers, giving themselves special names. I mean, at least 7 just went with 7. I'll be Lotus then. As I'm sure you all know, it has 8 petals. You guys are getting out of hand. Which means, of course, that my bracelet number is 8. I would appreciate it if you call me Snake. Snake? Snake? I'm not gonna do that. My bracelet is number 2. Since Ace has chosen cards, then I choose the dice. Snake Eyes. Clearly. Which is particularly relevant, given that I am blind. Oh yeah. Did I mention that earlier? Did I point that out? Huh, well, he's blind. Really? He'd kept his eyes closed during their entire ordeal, which had suggested something strange, but anime characters do that a lot, so hey, I don't know, maybe it's just Japanese tropes, but no, this guy's blind. But to hear it said so casually, it was something of a surprise. Everyone seemed a little nervous at the prince's proclamation, but no one seemed to know how to react to it. There was one person, however, who didn't seem to be surprised in the least. The girl with pink hair. I want to be Clover. You know, like a 4-leaf clover. Good luck, right? Looking almost bored, she held out her left hand. The face of her bracelet showed the number 4, of course. They'd come around to Junpei. He held out his bracelet. Alright, my number's 5, so my codename's gonna be... Well, I have one. It's not like there's any point to it now. We know your name. The dancer cut him off mid-sentence. I mean, we all know your name already. You're Junpei. Oh, now I don't get to have a cool code name. 5. 5? I don't even know what to do for 5. 5 is the Hierophant in the Tarot card. Or most Tarot card decks. He could have been Hierophant. God damn it. That would have been sick. Oh. They all nodded. Akane stepped forward nervously. Then you should just call me by my name too, because I mean it doesn't seem much fair to Jumpy. Jumpy? I don't know, whatever. You're thinking it's not cool for you to hide your name after you told us his? Akane fidgeted awkwardly. Junpei decided he had to do something. What's your bracelet number? It's 6. She hesitated for a moment, then held out her left hand. As she'd claimed, the bracelet's face showed a number 6. Junpei looked at it for a moment and thought, hey, maybe it's actually a 9 and it's just upside down. No, that's just my thought. Never mind. Alright then, why don't we call you June? That's gonna get too confusing. June. Yeah, you know, it's the 6th month of the year, so you're June. Junpei. Akane kneaded her hands and looked up at Junpei, uncertain. He smiled back at her reassuringly. Are you good with that? She thought about it for a few more minutes, then seemed to come to a decision and gave Junpei a small nod. Their names decided, Junpei ran over them quickly in his head. 1 was Ace. 2 was Snake. 3 was Santa. 4 was Clover. 5 was Junpei. Akane was 6, and Junpei had given her the codename of June. 7 was 7. Classy. And 8 was Lotus. That meant that 8 of them, including Junpei, had revealed their bracelet numbers. There's just that bastard with the glasses that has not said a single fucking word. Almost forgot about him. He was the man with glasses and hair like a bird's nest. He hadn't said anything since they'd met on the stairs, and he looked like the sort of person who was inclined to conversation. His skin was pale, his breathing was heavy, and he was soaked with nervous sweat. He is a shut-in. Maybe. His behavior seemed very suspicious, or perhaps simply emotionally unstable. It was difficult to tell. Whatever the case, it seemed clear that he had only a fingertip's worth of a grip on his sanity. Poor, poor bastard. The girl with pink hair, Clover, walked up to him slowly. She put her hands on her hips and eyed him suspiciously. What number are you? I'm going to give Clover the most annoying voice possible. He didn't answer. His bloodshot eyes twitched from person to person, and his breath came in hot pants. Hey, I'm talking to you. The man licked his dry lips with a shaking tongue and spoke with a voice like old paper. What does that mean? Old paper. What? I'm just gonna make him sound like as much as jackass as possible. Isn't it obvious? There are 9 people here, and you know whose numbers 1 through 9, 8 are, right? I'm the only one left. So you're 9. Yeah. He extended a trembling arm. Maybe I should stop doing that voice for him. It's fucking me up. The bracelet did indeed say 9. Clover looked at it contemptuously. What's your code name? Code name? What do you want us to call you? We all made up names, you should too. I don't need one. Why not? Because I'm not gonna stay here. With you. What a jackass. He took a shuddering breath and exhaled. Clover looked at him with something very like disgust. You've got some sort of plan? I do! Yeah, what's that? You sure you want to know? Yeah. Alright. Let me show you. I'm gonna do this! Ah! Well, this is quite the problem. Maybe. By the time they realized what he was doing, it was too late to stop him. The man's body moved like a snake's. We already have a snake, though. In the blink of an eye, he had slid around behind her and wrapped his arm around her waist. Jesus Christ, this guy is surprisingly smooth. Hey, what the hell do you think you're doing? Silver, Santa, leapt forward, toward Clover and the 9th man. He was halfway there when... Stay back! Suddenly, the man's hand dove into his pocket. This guy is fucking insane. It came back out with a knife. A pocket knife. This girl is about to royally fuck him up. I hope. You know, come to think of it, this is a good cliffhanger. Yeah, this has been one huge exposition episode. I don't know how much anyone minds, and hey, maybe you guys will get some kind of entertainment out of it. Hey, if not, like I said, this probably won't be the playthrough for everyone. So, if you didn't like this episode, you might want to stop watching. Yeah. Anyway, we'll continue on with this later. We'll find out what this guy does to him later. Him? That's a chick. Whatever. It's like fucking past midnight. I shouldn't be recording. I'll see you guys later.